What's up, guys? So today I'm going to be talking about time frames, the importance of time frames, and how to use the time frames correctly in the Falcon strategy or any other price taking strategy that is similar to Falcon, if there is. But anyways, without any further ado, let's just get straight to the video. So in Falcon, the only time frames that we use is the monthly, the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15 minutes, and the 5 minutes. So people should desist from this thing of adding their self time frames, like using the 30-minute time frame, using the 2 hour time frame, because you find yourselves engaging into unnecessary losses, right? Because you are adding a time frame which has not been tested in that particular strategy. So time frames have to be rule based, and that's it. Not adding any unnecessary time frames that haven't been back tested or forward tested in live market conditions, right? So for me, the only time frames that have gave me consistency, truly speaking, is the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then the 15 minutes. So how do I use these time frames accordingly? So what I do is I do something called top down analysis. So top down analysis, it is where you go from the highest time frames to the lowest time frames, like anti-clockwise. Let's say the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then the 15. So we start from the top to the bottom, right? And so what do we do when we come to the 1 hour time frame? So let's just get technical with it. So what I usually look for here is market direction from the higher time frame. So what do I mean by market direction? So the higher time frames, they are the time frames whereby we will get a clear direction on what is happening on overall. You see, overall, the whole price action on that particular pair you are going to be looking at, right? It is where we get that edge and the confidence of maybe looking for a particular decision into selling or buying a pair. So even before we get to the decision, we want to buy or to sell, we start from the weekly. So what do we look for on the weekly, especially in Falcon, right? Falcon has changed, guys. It is no longer the Falcon that it used to be back then, whereby people used to use these trend lines like this, and you call this a what, ascending channel, maybe, you know. Now that's not used anymore, because you cannot use a trend line alone. We do use trend lines, but then we use them together with value areas, right? So this is what I want to introduce, right? So in the higher time frame, the weekly, we identify our value areas, right? So right here, this to me was my value area. So I look for an area where price collected volume previously, and then it followed on with an impulse, right? So that is my value area. So from that area going to the right, we can see what is happening. This is forming a pattern already, whereby most of the people know there's a double top. You see, already with our double top, we know that we should be looking forward for sales to the downside, right? That is what we should be looking for. So already you now have a market a market direction. So that is what I mean by, on the high time frame, you look for the market direction, right? And then after you are done with your market direction, you can go to the daily. So, and then when you're at the daily time frame, you look for more confluences to solidify your bias, right? To solidify your market direction to the downside. And then this is where I myself start placing trend lines, right? I do not just place trend lines anyway, but then I place them after I place my value areas. So now I have two confluences, the value area and then the trend lines. So what is this now? This is an ascending channel. and the ascending channel is a form of a reversal. So as we can see, what happened here? 1, 2, 3. Now we have 3 charges on the trend line. So what do we do? On the weekly, we look for the value areas, and then the daily, it is where we start drawing what's our trend lines, right? And then we look at the candlesticks again, and then as you can see, price has already dropped to the downside, right? Good. Okay, so we're done looking for price action on the daily time frame, because it is done now. There's nothing more we can decipher on the daily, because each time frame, when you use it, you need to be deciphering something on that particular time frame. You do not need to decipher everything on a single time frame. So as I said, the weekly value areas, the daily, it is where we start using trend lines. It is, I'm not saying it is where, because people might get this mistaken. People would then like use the daily only for trend lines and say where to say that. No, is where we start. You may find a situation whereby there is no gonna be a chance of you using trend lines, and then you just go to the lower time frame. So after that, we'll go to the 4-hour. So the 4-hour, what do we do on the 4-hour? So the 4-hour going downwards, for me, these time frames, I use them to identify what's the entry. So the entry is decided from the 4-hour going down, right? Now I'm done with the market direction. I know I'm looking for sales, right? My bias is on the sales. But then now, let's say I'm at the 4-hour, and I want an entry now. So now let's see what is happening. So you also have to know your price action very well, because knowing how to use time frames alone won't help you with anything. Because now, as you can see, now we will need your knowledge in price action, right? Not only time frames, but the price action. And as you can see right here, first thing I notice is what here there can be a possible head and shoulder setup to the downside. So that is even more confirmation that vele the shorts, the sales, the market direction to the downside, I might be on the right side of the market, right? I have 3 confluences. But then in Falcon, we do not use head and shoulder that much for an entry. It's just an added confluence that, okay, might be a head and shoulder. Okay, so now using the 4-hour, I was able to see that. But then if I was on the weekly time frame, I wasn't going to be able to see that. You see, so that is why I go from the weekly going down, right? So what happened here, as you can see, we look at the whole of this price action. I usually see some YouTubers say maybe start analyzing here current market price going. There is nothing like that. You have to analyze everything to have a better understanding on what's happening. So here, as you can see, price reacted on this this inflation area right here. We call this an inflation point in the Falcon strategy, right? And then price started to go down. So now, here there can be possibilities that price decides to go up, maybe creates a continuation, and maybe we can look for buys. Why are we looking for buys now? Because we set the market direction there, so there's something called counter trend. So it is where we counter the move. In as much as we might be looking for the sells, the market can also go up again. And how we use similar we use certain entries to enter on counter trends, because they're usually higher risk, because you will be trading against the trend, right? But then what I can identify on the 4-hour is just the low, right? So if someone missed the point, was on the 4-hour, we identify our inflation areas and also patterns if they are available, right? And then after that, we move down to the 1-hour time frame. So we did identify this one, but then if you can look properly, this point was just touched by a week, right? Which means there's a near miss already. And what do Falcon traders know about near misses? They get filled 90% of the time. So what does this mean? This is more confluence that the sales might be a possible thing to happen. You see, now we have a lot of confluences. So I have a solid bias for shorts on NZDJPY. And then the 1 hour now, I further identify everything. And like you see, from the weekly to the daily to the 4 to the 1 hour, if there is a possible area where I can put a trend line, I can put it still. If there's a possible area where I can put an inflation point, I will put it. Like now you put everything, like all of the knowledge, everything has to be here on the 1 hour. Must be a concoction of everything, right? That is why I said, like, knowing time, you have to use time frames alone when I assist you if you do not know your price action properly, because there's a lot of things that I mentioned. Yeah, I mentioned the near miss, right? Yeah, right. I mentioned the near miss because here we can see price just touched with the wick, so there wasn't that much of a reaction, so my price might come back down. And then also this is also another inflation point, right? Which is, yeah, which to me adds risk, right? Because if this is an inflation point, like a solid inflation point, price came here, created mass psychology. If let's say we are reacting to this one and then went up, this might be just towards a continuation, and then price continues, maybe reaches this hook point, and then maybe we can look for sales day. We don't know, because it is that case. Me, what am I going to do here? Because as I said, I'm looking for shorts, right? How can a short happen here? Many things, right? Many ways. You might experience a flag like this, right? But this using this forecast, it is usually for the beginner Falcon traders, because see, this is a big structure, and it's a structure that might not even happen. So if you are a Falcon trader, you have to open your eyes and your mind, and you have to be skilled in checking everything. As you can see, guys, what is this? This is a hook point, right? We can see clearly that price moved down, created a pullback momentum, so this area has value, right? So with that said, I'm waiting for what? For price to reach this top. This is going to be my first inflation, and then this is going to be my second one, right? I can also use this one, but then it's gonna depend on where price is going to reject. So if it rejects here, I'm going to wait for a continuation here, and then I'm entering to the downside with the continuation, because I don't know because a reversal here, I cannot enter with a reversal entry. Why? Because there's a possibility if I enter here, price can just push up here and then react to this inflation point and then drops. So you need to be careful right there. And then the 15 minutes, I just use it to refine my entries, right? If maybe I want to give a structure to an entry I identified in the 1 hour, I use the 15 minute. Likewise with the 5 minute. So there's nothing special with it, right? Because I know, like, Mark Hutchison also released this thing called the refinement, but what people don't understand is that a refinement is the same thing that you do on the 1 hour, whereby you get a 1 hour entry and then you enter in the 15. It's the same thing, like when you have a 15-minute entry, you enter with the 5 minute, and then you guys try to make things very much complicated for yourselves, and you don't understand that concept, and then your trading becomes a stress. So I'm just giving you guys free game. So for me to release such beautiful content, I want you guys to please support the channel, comment, like, and share, and subscribe as well, so I can continue dropping this valuable content, right? Because you guys engaging with me in the channel motivates me to give you more and more very important information, right? And I saw from the last technical video I dropped, you guys watched the video, so I was very impressed and was like, okay, I'm gonna drop a second video. So yeah, and then I'm also gonna drop another video after this one. I'll see a topic, but then I'd like for you guys to maybe comment down below on future topics you guys want me to talk about on future videos, and maybe I can make a video concerning any question I see on the comment section. And then if you also want access to my mentorship, you can kindly WhatsApp me. I have my socials on the description below. You can also send me an Instagram or WhatsApp. So how do you access me on WhatsApp? You just follow the Telegram channel here. There's a free Telegram channel link. You tap that link, it's gonna like get you straight to the Telegram channel, free Telegram channel, where I also post free daily setups, right, that I usually look at on that particular day. And then there's a link every time I post below there to my WhatsApp business, and then there I can explain everything for my mentorship